Hey guys, welcome back. This is week 2. We're here, we're still doing this. Thank you guys for anyone that watched the first one and still wanted to watch the next one, and I'm appreciative. Today's kind of a crazy week and I'm so excited to tell you guys about it because I am getting to speak at the Twitter executive meeting. I got the coolest DM on Twitter that asked me if I was interested in speaking to Jack and staff. I was like, do you mean Jack Dorsey? And they were like, yeah. Like, let me move some meetings. So I'm getting to speak to the team at Twitter about Twitter as a platform for women. Why? Because I've been on Twitter for a year and have had an incredible experience. I had a lot of misconceptions about what Twitter is, and I want to share them with you. But I will say that my closest friends now are from Twitter. I found my investors for House of Wise on Twitter, and I found my new role as CMO of Teal on Twitter. So Twitter is an untapped resource for so many things. But let's rewind to my original thought about Twitter. So I was with Alex Edelman, who is the founder of Lolly, incredible human, and we were having a heated debate about Twitter, what it's like as a platform for women. And I had a lot of thoughts that it was for men, it was for VC, politics, and it was very divisive and a lot of trolls. When I have an emotional reaction to something, I have done enough therapy to kind of push myself into thinking, what can I learn from this? And should I give it a second chance? So I said, I will spend 6 months on Twitter and see what happens. I love to be proven wrong, honestly. So I started on my journey now that was about a year ago, and just got verified. So I wanted to share with you some initial observations, but then jump into 7 tips that I wish someone had told me when I was getting started on Twitter. Initial observations. The beginning of your Twitter journey feels like you are going into a junior high cafeteria and everybody already has their friends. People are retweeting each other, people are commenting, and it feels awkward to jump in. It just does. Just know that everyone has felt that way if they weren't an early adopter of Twitter. As a female jumping into Twitter, I will say that women support women. Most of my retweets and comments in the early days came from women. So if you are a man or an early Twitter influencer, remember that and try to share your platform and raise other women up with you. I started to spend more time on Twitter than I did on Instagram. My need for the visual stimulation of Instagram started to melt away, and I was craving the intellectual stimulation that Twitter offers. And let's face it, you're rewarded for unfiltered thoughts versus a filtered selfie. And I just loved that. So let's jump into 7 things that I wish I would have known when starting my Twitter journey, and hopefully these will help you. Number 1, stop overthinking. You just have to start tweeting. When I started, I was like, what are people gonna think? In the early days, it doesn't matter. It's just about that muscle. It's like working out for the first time. You're not going to be good at it. Your form won't be perfect, but you have to start somewhere. So stop overthinking and just start tweeting. Number 2, when you think about content strategy, if you're a marketer, you think about what to tweet about. Stop worrying so much in the early days about what your brand is and just tweet authentically about things that you care about. Genuineness comes across on Twitter. Your content strategy will evolve and kind of concretize over time. I love that you can go from a soapbox on Twitter to mom jokes the next tweet. Because if that's authentic to me and that's my day and I have highs and lows in my day, that's totally fine. It shows who you are as a human. So just know yourself and stop overthinking. Number 3, seems obvious, but tweet often and original thoughts. A lot of people in the beginning just retweet. It's so important to think about what value you are adding. Why would I want to follow you? What are you going to be talking about? Tweeting often shows that people can depend on you, that you're going to be tweeting often and you're worth a follow. And then original thoughts give me a taste of the types of things you like to talk about. Next, clean up your bio, share what you are doing or what you're passionate about or what you're thinking about, what you're gonna be tweeting about. People will check out your bio And that's important. Feel free to tag your company if you want to do that. I think it's a great place to be a brand ambassador while you're building your personal brand. And more companies should champion that. Number 5, jump into convos. Again, I know it feels awkward, but the more and more people start seeing your handle, the more they're gonna be interested in who you are. And eventually you've got to get to know people. Which leads me to the next point, which is spend more time in the DMs. The DMs is where the magic happens. I spend most of my time having conversations in DMs. Send the cold DM. I know it feels weird, but do it. I made friends with Matt Kobach early in my Twitter journey. Both him and Jack Appleby became real life friends. And when they would retweet one of my marketing threads, I would grow like 500 followers at a time because they had established followings. So make friends, take it offline. And last but not least, if you're getting started on Twitter, especially if you're a woman, block, mute, and curation are the holy trinity of Twitter. Block people immediately. If someone responds to you in a gross way or in a mean way, block them immediately. Mute words, people, cleaning up my feed and unfollowing people that weren't what I wanted to absorb or think about during that day, that kind of bad energy, or muting topics when something was happening and you just had enough is so important. And just curating your feed. Follow people that inspire you, keep you motivated, and want to champion you. If you do these 7 things and stick to it, I promise you, you will have the same experience I've had where the coolest people come into your life, the coolest opportunities come into your life, and you are inspired to keep pushing yourself and keep growing. So thank you for joining about my Twitter TED Talk. If you liked this video and want to learn more about marketing, behind the scenes of me building my company, I just got my final stress gummies in and they are so good. I'm obsessed with our product. I can't wait to share this with you guys. I'm taking this because I'm about to go be with my kids. So if you want to follow along, learn more about this journey of starting a company, and I'm also going to be starting some new content series with Teal HQ about people's careers and how they navigated them. So if any of that sounds appealing, hit the subscribe button and like it if you liked it. If not, no worries, but I'm really appreciative. So we'll see you guys next week.